How is it even possible that a law from 1927, a real relic of a painful past, could still be deciding who gets to keep their family home today? Well, we're about to dive into a landmark constitutional case that didn't just expose a deep legal divide in South Africa, it completely rewrote the rules of inheritance for millions.
Okay, so let's jump right in. Before 2004, the law was, quite literally, black and white. If you passed away without a will, your race was the single deciding factor for which law applied to your family. For most South Africans, a straightforward law of intestate succession would kick in. But for Black South Africans, a totally separate and deeply discriminatory law, the Black Administration Act, took over. It was like having two different countries living under one flag.
So, let's unpack this tale of two laws. Because this wasn't just some legal technicality. This was a system that cut right to the heart of the nation and fundamentally divided it.
First things first, there's a key term you need to know: intestate succession. It sounds complicated, but it's not. It's simply the official legal process for what happens to someone's property when they die without a valid will. It's supposed to be a fair and orderly way to help the family that's left behind. Now this table, wow, it just lays the inequality bare. On one side, you have the Black Administration Act from 1927. It applied only to Africans, and under its rules, inheritance was based on this principle called male primogeniture. That means only the eldest male heir could inherit. Wives, daughters, they were just left out. On the other side, the Intestate Succession Act. It applied to everyone else and made sure property was shared between the surviving spouse and the children. I mean, they were two parallel legal universes, creating drastically different futures for grieving families. But you know, laws aren't just abstract ideas on a piece of paper. They have a real and sometimes brutal human cost. And this fight, it was led by two families who were living the nightmare of this unjust system.
And at the absolute heart of this case were two little girls, Nonkululeko and Annalisa Bay.
Their story is just incredibly powerful. Their dad died in 2002 without a will. The family didn't have much. They were living together in an informal home in Khayelitsha. Now, because of the Black Administration Act, the court didn't appoint their mother as the heir. Instead, it appointed their grandfather, who lived hours away. He was declared the only heir, and he made it pretty clear he was going to sell their home. The stakes couldn't have been higher. And I mean, listen to this. The court documents themselves state that the girls simply did not qualify to inherit from their own father. Their mom literally had to race to court just to stop them from being put out on the street. This wasn't a theoretical problem. This was an immediate crisis.
But the Boya sisters weren't fighting this battle alone. The courts heard their case at the same time as another one, brought forward by a woman named Charlotte Shibby.
So Miss Shibby's brother passed away without a will, and he didn't have a wife or kids. As his sister, she was his closest living relative. But under this law, she was completely ignored. Her brother's entire estate was given to his male cousins instead, for no other reason than the fact that they were men. It just perfectly highlights the deep, deep gender discrimination that was baked right into the law.
So with these families facing the very real possibility of losing their homes and their rightful inheritances, the fight moved into the courts. And this wasn't just a challenge to one single rule. This was putting South Africa's brand new constitutional values on trial against the ugly laws of its past.
Now, the legal bad guy at the center of all this injustice has a name: male primogeniture. It's an old rule of inheritance that says only the eldest living male can inherit property. It automatically cuts out all women and even younger sons, basically treating them as if they're not qualified to own or manage anything.
So this is the absolute crucial point. The whole challenge argued that this rule, forced on people by the Black Administration Act, was a direct violation of South Africa's new constitution. It smashed right into the right to equality because it discriminated based on race, gender, and even whether you were born inside a marriage. It violated the right to human dignity by treating women like they were second-class citizens, and it completely ignored the rights of children, whose best interests are supposed to come first.
So you've got this collision course, an old, apartheid-era law on one side, and a new, democratic constitution on the other. This could only be settled by the highest court in the land. And the court's answer? Well, it was going to be powerful.
The Constitutional Court did not mince words. In its judgment, it called the Black Administration Act exactly what it was, a relic of our racist and painful past. It saw the law for what it was designed to be, a tool to enforce separation and subordination.
The court's verdict was crystal clear, simple, and it changed everything. The entire system that this old law had created and the rule of male primogeniture it enforced were declared unconstitutional.
Justice Sachs really got to the heart of why this was so important. He said it was an affront to all of us that the law was still treating people as blacks instead of just as people. It violated the most basic promise of the new South Africa, to build a society where your rights don't depend on where you come from.
Okay, so what does this massive landmark ruling actually mean for everyone in South Africa today? This is where the story gets truly empowering.
The outcome is just beautifully simple. The court tore down that old discriminatory system. And today, there is one law for all. If any South African passes away without a will, the Intestate Succession Act applies. Period. Regardless of race, regardless of gender. And this ruling created a system that is so much more just. The rules are now straightforward and fair for everybody. If there's a spouse but no kids, the spouse gets everything. Simple. If there are kids but no spouse, they inherit everything in equal shares. No more eldest son rule. And if there's a spouse and kids, they share the estate. Finally, equality, written into the law.
Ultimately, the Bray and Shibi cases are such a powerful reminder that the Constitution isn't just some dusty old legal document. It's a living, breathing tool for justice. It proves that the courage of ordinary people can be used to tear down the architecture of the past. Which kind of leaves us with one final thought. What other injustices are out there, just waiting for their own constitutional challenge? Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and follow Talk Legal SA on other platforms.